Welcome to another edition of Buck What You Heard. My name is Gene. You can reach me at Buck What You Heard. Long time no see, fellas. It's been a while since I've been on, but I'm back and I'm joined by my special guest, Mr. Buccin Idiot himself from the Buccin Idiots, Adam Horn. What's good, my friend?
What's up, Mean Gene?
Hey, we're here to have some fun, man. Drop you in the hot seat, maybe. It's gonna be entertaining. I promise.
Always. And it's a victory week.
Yeah, and that makes it that much sweeter is when you can talk about, what the Bucs did and how they played the game and, just how everything went. I was excited. It was one of those games where I was like, first at the beginning, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to be one of those guys that said, oh, I knew they were going to do this. I was like, man, I don't know if I really want to watch this game just based on how they played the week before and how inconsistent they've been. But you know what? It was compelling because I hate the Atlanta Falcons as much as I do. I was just like, okay, I'm going to watch this game.
It's a sickness, Gene. You can lie to yourself all you want, but we're no different than that dude chasing the crack pipe. Like we have to get our fix in. If the Bucs are playing, we gotta watch.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's kind of where we are, man. I mean, you want to see what's going to happen. It's compelling. You want to see, what are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to do? How are they going to do this? Are they going to win? That kind of thing. And that is what's so compelling about all this is like, okay, Jameis Winston had this monster game. Last week he was just atrocious, and now let's see what he's going to do. Can he bounce back from this? What is the defense going to do? Is the defense going to improve? Just little things like that, and you're like, I'm not going to watch the game, and then get closer to time, you're like, well, maybe I'll watch the first 5 minutes of the game, and then next thing you know, you're enwrapped in the game.
Like I said, man, it's an illness, it's a sickness, it's an addiction. We all share it. Everybody knows what you're talking about. Even those who they swear this team off on a weekly basis.
You can't. You can't. Realistically, bro, you can't swear this team off.
We talked about it, Gene. It's like a bad woman, bro.
That's exactly what it is too. Yeah. It's just like, man, what do you and you're like, I ain't watching them no more. I'm done watching them. I don't care. I don't care if I don't ever see him again. And then you're like, next thing you know, you're like, okay, all right, I'm going to watch him for a few minutes. We're going to watch him and see. But then I'm going to turn it off if it gets bad. And the next thing you know, you're in the third, fourth quarter. And you don't know what's happened. But what are your thoughts on this game? This game right here against our dreaded rivals, the Atlanta Falcons. What were your takeaways from that game?
Secondary. That was the biggest takeaway I took from the game. It was a huge leap forward for the secondary. For the first time all season, they looked in control. They looked like they had a plan. They were, other than one break at the beginning of the game with the tight end running down the seam. I don't know if it was Devin White or one of the safeties' responsibilities. Outside of that, the coverage was tight all game. Davis, had lockdown coverage on Julio. Sean Murphy Bunting did his thing. And of course, Jamel Dean, also had a good performance, man. So
still scratching my head as to why he wasn't more involved. But again, water under the bridge. I'm not gonna.
No, it's not, Gene. It's not water under the bridge. How the? I know it's family friendly, but how the fuck was that guy on the bench last week? It doesn't even make sense,
bro. I don't even know what to say to that, man. I mean, it's seriously, everything came together like it was supposed to, and again, this is one game. I kind of go back to, is this the system? Is this what we were supposed to have seen in the beginning of the season? I know sometimes it's unrealistic to expect a team to gel, come together, and do what they do. But I have to ask, was this part of the plan? Is that what is this what we were supposed to see?
Okay, I mean, explain that to me though. If that was part of the plan, what good does sitting Dean on the bench do? That to me can't be a part of any real plan unless he was injured or in the doghouse or showed up late to a meeting or whatever. Maybe there's some shit we just don't know about.
It has to be that, man, because to be very honest, I watched that game and I looked at Dean, and Dean looked confident. What's up with the chat? I'm working on the chat, guys. I'll get you guys up here in just a minute. But no, it just, I don't really know how to describe it, man. It's like you see this team and you're like, what is going on? What's happening here?
It's there's been some puzzling coaching decisions all year long.
Yeah, let's say personnel decisions. We'll go that route there.
Yeah, personnel decisions, play calling. If you want to talk about strictly defense right now, let's talk about Todd Bowles and his over aggressive style. And I understand he has a way of doing things, but when you have such a green secondary, when you have a bunch of young guys back there, constantly blitzing and putting the pressure on them, always playing single high safety, that wasn't really a good look. That wasn't a recipe for success with these guys. We've struggled all year long, and it was just really nice to see us put a solid performance together on defense and offense in the same game.
Yeah, and I can't argue that. I mean, that's kind of how I felt about it. I was like, wow, where has this been?
Where has it been? We got pass rush, we got coverage. Guys were breaking up passes. We were putting pressure on Matt Ryan.
And they were aggressive. And the thing is, they were aggressive doing it. It wasn't like it wasn't like it was a little small increments better than what we've seen before. They were like a totally different defense out there.
You've seen flashes from all of them individually. Dean has had some good performances. Davis has had some good performances. Edwards has had some good performances. Sean Murphy-Bunting's looked good in stretches. It really the guy that looked the worst to me out there was the veteran Adams.
Yeah,
he wasn't necessarily out there making plays, but as a whole, I think they came together. It's exactly what you want to see. You can see Todd Bowles' scheme and system, what it's supposed to look like when everybody's gelling and it's all working like a well-oiled machine. Even Devin White, who's been flying around for the last 3 weeks.
You know what? I have to say that I didn't, when he was drafted, I was not huge. I wasn't like overly excited about it. I'm glad that he's come in and played like he's played. I think the GM he hit a home run with him, and I think he's played like we would have hoped that a first round pick is supposed to play.
Yeah, he flashed his pass rush ability this week.
I like his coverage. I think his coverage is coming along too.
His coverage looked good, but it was nice to see him get to the quarterback. It's nice to see our blitzes hit home because we blitz a lot, and I'm not a statistician guy. I'm not one of those people that crunch the numbers quite a bit, but our success rate in getting home on the blitz this season hasn't been great.
No, it hasn't.
It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that shit out. And it was just nice to see our blitzes get there. Last week we had a successful corner blitz. This week, we're blitzing some linebackers. We're getting pressure all over the place. Vita got himself a sack. Shaq got himself a sack. Nassib got a sack. They were all around Ryan all day long. And the secondary, a lot of it had to do with the fact that the secondary was playing real tight coverage because, Matt Ryan looked like Jameis Winston back there, patting the ball, looking for an open receiver, but not being able to find anybody.
And throughout his career, he's hated getting hit. It's one of those things about Matt Ryan. If you start hitting that guy, he'll get happy feet and he just, that's who he is. On those rare occasions that you can hit Drew Brees can be like that as well. But to be very honest, I loved what I saw from this defense, And this is what you want to consistently see from this team, not just flashes of it, but you want them to go out and do what they do. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, can you remember a game in recent history where the Bucs have made Matt Ryan look that uncomfortable?
No, you can't. You really can't. You can't. To be honest, I'm trying to think the last time. No, I honestly can't.
And maybe it had to do with that system that he's running right now.
Yeah,
a lot of similarities between what we run here in Tampa and what Dirk Cutter runs there in Atlanta. You know, a lot of long developing plays. Ryan wasn't really able to get the ball out of his hands quickly, and a lot of that probably had to do with coverage and the fact that the pass rush was really getting home early and often.
Yeah. So what does this say? I mean, what does this say about the Atlanta Falcons offensive coordinator? Is that the common denominator in this, or do you think it's the personnel? Because you've got a future Hall of Famer in Julio Jones. Their running backs, they've always been able to get quality running backs in. I feel like Tampa came out there and they executed like they were supposed to. They overcame some miscues from Jameis Winston early on. And Jameis Winston, the guy has amnesia. He throws a pick, and then he comes back down, and he's threading the needle. You know what I'm saying?
Jameis always has had that unique ability to.
And I tell people, and the guys in the chat will tell you, I call Jameis Winston a blessing and a curse. Because you look at that pass to Chris Godwin, and you're like, Jesus Christ. But then you look at some of there have been some ill-advised throws. I know a lot of people try to explain away a lot of the miscues, holding onto the ball too long sometimes. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. And I have to say, he's a blessing and a curse. And when you've got Jameis, when he's on, that guy can rip out a 20-yard run that you're not expecting, and then, turn around and throw a frozen rope to a streaking Chris Godwin.
Yeah, I was on a Loose Cannons podcast earlier today with Sammer, and we were talking about exactly that. I actually even put out the scenario that Jameis seems like to be like one of those, like a boxer that needs to get punched in the face a couple times, get a little blood in his mouth before he locks in, and finds his rhythm and looks surgical. Because it took those plays, I think, to shake off the nerves. And man, the 71-yard touchdown, the pass to Godwin over the middle,
that was a thing of beauty.
That right there was the game changer. After that play, you could see defensively, offensively, this team had a completely different air of confidence about it.
Yeah, their identity was different.
Yeah, and that says a lot about the psyche of this team. They just need some success to build confidence. I mean, look at a team like the 49ers. They've got quite a bit of talent on their defensive line. But outside of that, not a whole lot has changed between this team this year and their team last year. Oh, and Jimmy Garoppolo's back, and he's playing well enough.
Well enough, exactly.
But confidence. They are playing with confidence. They believe they're unbeatable. They go into every week with that swagger, that mentality, like they're not going to lose. That they're gonna dominate, and that's something they've built. They didn't come into Tampa week one like that. We were in that game. We beat ourselves that game.
Yeah,
so
and that's what it comes down to.
But they're playing at a whole different level now, and that's really, I think that's Bruce Arians' secret sauce. He's always been a confidence guy. From the very get-go, he's talked about building this team's confidence. It's a really young team. We got a bunch of first-year starters on defense in the secondary, and I think this week should go a long way towards, building some momentum as we go forward. I'm expecting to see another dominant performance this week against Jacksonville, and I know it's a challenge. They've got some talent in Jacksonville. Their defense is nothing to be, nothing to be taken lightly. That's for sure.
Now I have to ask you: did you expect this kind of start from Tampa when they went into Atlanta? I mean,
negative.
What were your thoughts? I mean, what were you hoping to see from this team? When this was first kicking off?
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to the people. I mean,
You and me both.
For those who are watching this YouTube show right now, know if they follow me on Twitter at Bucs Podcast, Stank Bastard. If they follow me on Twitter or they listen to the Buccin Idiots podcast, the podcast I did the day before the game, actually the night of the game, or the night before the game, I was not overly positive. I was actually very pessimistic about, what was to come. I even tweeted out earlier in the week, it feels like one of those games where we're just gonna, it's gonna be a cringe fest. We're gonna see Dirk Cutter smiling on the sidelines, high fiving Raheem Morris. It just felt like it was setting up to be one of those, those Bucs moments where you're like, Jesus, man, the universe is just against us, and karma just comes back and bites us in the ass. That's
every single time.
Yeah, and as I went on, because I think you probably do the same thing. I use my podcast as my own personal therapy session, and as I talked it out, and then I had my callers call in, they kind of talked me off the ledge a little bit. And by the end of my podcast, I was like, okay, let's do this. Let's beat these Falcons. I had a little more confidence back in my blood. But no, I did not expect to see, and it was as dominant of a performance as we've had all year.
I think it's the most complete game that I've seen in I would say in the past couple of years. I would say within the span, I would say going back to maybe 2016. I can't think of a more complete game than what we saw from them, where your running back Ronald Jones, who looked good. I'm going to get to him in a minute because I'm not real, and I can say this, that I haven't been real happy about how they've used him. Normally, if you've got he is a feature back. Yeah. I know a lot of people don't want to believe that just based on last year and the stark contrast. He worked his butt off to get to where he is right now. He's earned the right. He outplayed Peyton Barber to get to where he is right now. And when you watch him run, you think, man, if he could just hit that crease there, or if he slips his tackle here, he could take it to the house. I really believe that between now and the end of the season, he's going to break a long run. And he's going to have one that's going to be that career highlight so far in his career.
He's had a few real big runs that have got called back on penalties. And I think he had one that got blown dead early in this game.
Oh, yes.
Like there was nothing but green grass in front of him. But no, there's no doubt that he has the ability to be our feature back. I'm not as mad as a lot of other people are at the rotation, although I think they found a better rotation, because before it was Peyton Barber and as a starter, and then Rojo would come in. But I think it works a lot better like this. Rojo's not nearly as physical, but he is physical. But he's not that grimy between the tackles guy like Peyton is.
Let me say this, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I think I have a different take. The guy runs hard. He runs violent to me. If you compare him to last year, night and day. I consider this a do-over. This is his real rookie season because of the way he was utilized last year. To me, watching him run, when he hits the hole, he's deciding, okay, I'm getting ready to hit that hole. And he's breaking tackles. He's moving that pile. And that's something that we see that with Peyton Barber in some plays, but just watching him consistently, I mean, I would love to see him just get the ball and feed him, and let's see if he gets stronger and as you go into the later quarters. I love that they're using these other running backs in there. The running back by committee thing, I guess it's okay, but I would love to see what he can do just as a feature back. And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I'm gonna jump into the chat here real quick, and because the guys, I do apologize. It looks like there's something wrong. There was an update on the software that I was using, and it kind of affected the chat. I will have the chat back in here, I promise, guys. I'm gonna try to get this guy back on next week before I go to Europe, and see if I can talk him into it, maybe bribe him or something like that while I'm in Tampa.
You don't need that. There needs to be no bribery, bro.
Jeremy St. John, what's going on? Perry Mathis, XLU Garvey, that's my guy right there. I appreciate you. Rex Dillon of the Buckaholics. You know, if you don't know about the Buckaholics, if you're not living in Tampa, you're living somewhere close in a major metropolitan area, you need to look them up. The Buckaholics are everywhere now. I think they're in like 25 or close to 25 cities. They're just, you know, building up. It just shows you there's Bucs fans everywhere. When they say Bucs Nation, they really mean it. Jeremy St. John's, thank you so much. The secondary again, you know, like we were just talking about the secondary and just what an improvement it was. And I love that baptism by fire. I think that Seahawks game was an eye opener, and Dean has responded so positively after that beat down that he took, you know, with the Seahawks. And I've been nothing but happy for him and very supportive to see how he's rebounded.
Again, it's puzzling why he didn't play last week. He had a great performance this week. I don't think we'll see that again all year.
Yeah, I think you're going to see him on the field from here on out unless there's, knock on wood, an injury.
Yes. By the way, shout out to the Buckaholics. I love it. I love hearing our fans.
That's crazy, isn't it?
TV. I love it because listen. Coming to games here in Tampa it's the experience is just terrible. Okay. You know, if you were there at the Giants game,
yeah,
you know, it was like being in New Jersey. Last week, it was like being at a New Orleans home game. But I'm glad that we have a presence outside of Tampa. I love seeing the videos. I love seeing the chop up from the LA thing. Listen, I think Devin White just gave a shout out to the Buckaholics on Twitter.
Yeah,
how awesome is that?
Yeah, you know, I was at the Cardinals Bucs game. The outcome wasn't, you know, the best, but bro, there were so many Buckaholics there in orange, in the Buccaneer creamsicle orange, and there were so many Cardinals fans, and they were like, this sounded like a home game because of how loud they were. And we had this little section over here, but our section was louder than everybody else around the stadium. I had walked around the stadium just to see what else was going on, and our party was the party.
No doubt. I saw the video of the LA one where Warren Sapp came in. I see how the Buckaholics get down. It's nice to see that we have a fan base, you know, these fan groups, or chapters, I guess you would call it in each city. Mm-hmm. Because there's Bucs fans all over the world.
That's the whole thing.
I know you see the analytics for your show, just like I see it on the Buccin Idiots podcast. There are people listening all over the world.
Yeah,
we got our military people. Shout out to military guys.
You guys are appreciated. Big time shout out. I mean,
all 50 states.
Yeah,
we've got Bucs fans everywhere.
Yeah,
I was
and they're just and it's so crazy just how long suffering Bucs fans are, and they're just waiting for that time to win, and then you will really, because I'm here to tell you, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a Bucs fan. We have the dopest logos. I don't give a damn about nobody else's logos. You can put a stupid ass 1 star. Yeah, 1 star. You can go to Amazon and put 1 star on one of the ratings on some of their trash items or something like that. You got a star. You got a bird. I mean, yeah. When you talk about the Buccaneers, I mean, I'm sorry, but the Raiders. I know the Raiders have been around a little bit longer, but the Buccaneers, what that logo is, that pirate flag. When you see that, that's what's up. When you see this right here, I mean, that's what's up. And I'm telling you, winning covers a multitude of sins. And I promise you, you're going to see more Buccaneers gear out there. And the Bucs start winning, you're going to start to see it.
Hold up, Gene. I got something for you real quick. Just because I see you repping back in the back. I got something for you. Give me 1 second. Hopefully I don't knock down all my shit. This is for the real ones out there. Sorry, my ass is on camera right now.
Oh, is that the draft phone? What?
What's up? What's up? Excuse me? You what? What?
Is that when they drafted Bo Jackson?
Exactly. This was the phone. This was the phone right here.
Yeah, Hugh Culverhouse messed all that up, man. Let's not even go down that path, man.
I'm gonna put that right there.
That is dope.
Hey, in
man.
case anybody wants to call into the Buck What You Heard hotline, what's up? I see you, Garvey. What you want to call in?
There you go. And
of all places, I found this shit at a pawn shop.
Really?
Yes, sir.
And that's an actual legit. That's the actual draft phone.
It is the draft phone. It's made by what the hell is the name of this company? I looked it up on eBay too.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and somebody was hard up for some money. Thankfully.
I guess, man, that is dope. Don't let me around here. I might walk away with that. No, I'm just playing. I'm not gonna do you like that, man.
I got some cool. I see you got some cool ass memorabilia back there. I got some cool stuff, man.
Yeah,
I've got I have Brad Culpepper's Monty Kiffin playbook.
Really?
Yes.
See, these are little things like that, man. And like, when I go see my parents again, I've got a Doug Williams Bayou Bullet T-shirt from when, and it's Doug Williams. He's got the orange sleeves on it, and it says Bayou Bullet. Man, that's like I used to wear that shirt all the time. And
you're an old school Bucs fan like me. I was talking about this the other day. We're not Dungy era Bucs fans. We're not Gruden era Bucs fans. We're Sam Weiss.
I mean, how many people know that Wayne Fontes was a GM here in Tampa?
Probably not many.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know who Wayne Fontes. I love Wayne Fontes.
How many people went and saw the Bucs practice at UT?
Oh yeah,
at
over at Pep and Root Stadium. Yeah, it's funny. I was working at Verizon downtown, and I all of a sudden got a headache because I wasn't feeling well, and so we go down to Pep and Root Stadium, pick my son up from daycare, and we're going in, and I'm like, okay, well let me stop for a little bit, and we're gonna hang out and watch some of the practice, and John Lynch is coming off the field. And I've got my son, and he takes a picture with my son. And right behind me is ABC News. And I'm supposed to be at home sick. and ABC News is live. So I'm going into work the next day, and I'm thinking, oh man, I'm about to get fired, man. It's a wrap for me. So I'm cleaned out my desk and stuff, and fortunately nobody saw me. Nobody saw that because I guess everybody was still at work. So it kind of worked out.
Hey Gene, I see here in the chat Jeremy's calling for you to do a call-in show.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the tech for it, man. I haven't got the tech set up, but I would love to do that. That is definitely high on my list. I'm seeing a lot more people doing it. So I know that it is definitely capable. You guys are the engine that runs the car, and I would love to have you guys calling in just so I can get your opinion real time on what's going on. I'm trying to make sure that I'm reading through everybody here, and I keep getting lost on these stories and stuff like that. And when I get on with this guy here, man, we can talk about it, and we go back, and what I found yesterday, dude. I found a Jack Thompson Topps card. Throwing Samoan, man. Yes, sir.
I still have all my cards, man.
I've got that one, and I've still got my James Wilder.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that guy was amazing. So, Rex Dillon, he's one of the captains for the Arizona chapter of Buckaholics, and he's big time listener. He listens to your show too, man. And again, that's what I love about this fan base is because I feel like the national media, the local media has let us all down, and this is where you need to get your flavor. Whether it's Buckin' Idiots, whether it's Buck What You Heard, whether it's Pewtercast, Pewter Report, you want to get into that niche. Loose cannons. There's just so many different flavors out there. You just get with who you like, and that's kind of how it works. Real Bucks talk. Just a lot of good quality stuff. And what bothers me is these people are putting heart and soul into it. They really care about this team. Whereas, I haven't that week, that Arizona Cardinals game, I didn't hear anybody else talking about giving tickets to people with Arizona driver's license. I didn't hear any of the local podcasters talking about that, doing that. They were talking about the game and the team they love. And that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. I tweeted out a couple of days ago, I wish Tampa had a sports talk radio station. Legit.
Here's the thing, though. I think it's a dying media.
It really is. And I get that.
People want on-demand content. They can sit here and binge watch your shows. They can go through 10 shows. They can watch it at church. With their AirPods in, they can watch it at their kids' basketball game. They can listen to the podcast on the plane. You can't do that with sports radio. And look, I mean, it has its place. There's still a lot of people who listen to the morning drive shows and sports radio, but it's going away. By and large, it's going away. I mean, look who's king right now. A guy like Joe Rogan just started a podcast in his living room. And now he's basically the king of all podcasts.
But this is the thing about Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is not scared of the truth. Joe Rogan's going to say, this is how I feel.
Right.
Like you on your show, this is how I feel.
Yeah.
And
he's not beholden to anybody. He's not part
right.
of an iHeartRadio conglomerate group where you have all these corporate sponsors and where you got to watch what you say and you have to pander to the the sponsorship groups and all that kind of stuff. That model that, hey, we're going to talk for 2 minutes and then we're going to play 2 minutes of commercials and we're going to come back on talk for 2 minutes and then play 2 more minutes of commercials. Nobody wants that anymore. It's like when you have to watch sports on TV and you're like, holy shit, I forgot what commercials were like because you're used to watching Netflix and on demand and you forgot how annoying commercials actually were.
Yeah, like I don't watch ESPN. I watch ESPN for college basketball. It's the only reason I will watch them. I'm not watching them for their news because I don't care. I can get that on Twitter. And I get enough of what I need and I, weed out the other stuff that I don't really care about. And that's what it's all about. But and I know, like you're just like me. A lot of these guys just want to get their voices heard.
Sure.
And when they're in the chat, they want to be heard. And that's what I try to do is make sure that, I can, get there and make sure that everybody gets heard. Like Peter 747, he's been a fan since 1996. So am I thinking here, was Sam Weish, was that his last year or was that Dungy's first year? Sam I Am 95, 96, I think it was because no. I'm sorry. That was, let me Google that, but I'm almost positive.
I can't remember. I have it here, man. Because
this is horrible, man. I should know better.
I always forget dates, man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so it's just little things like that. That's when the team was coming around, and I mean, I had an interesting talk with somebody who's a Saints fan, and he brought up something very interesting when he was talking about Rich McKay. He said Rich McKay is the best GM that the Bucs have ever had, and he's an old head. I mean, we're talking Ken Stabler kind of old head. Mm-hmm. And he said that Rich McKay was the best general manager the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have ever had.
Hard to argue against that.
I can't argue with that. I mean, you look. I know he's had multiple coaches. Sam Weish, Tony Dungy, and John Gruden were all within his tenure. Mm-hmm. But what he put together, he brought home that trophy.
He brought home the trophy. The Weish era drafts, bringing in Warren Sapp and Derek Brooks in the same draft, bringing in John Lynch and Mike Allstott. I mean, he drafted Hall of Fame players.
Yes, he did. Several of them. Multiple, and right. There's still there's a couple that just may be that way.
Yeah, he definitely made a big difference here. It's sad to see that him and Gruden just couldn't see eye to eye. They weren't on the same page. It sucked to see McKay walk away and then go to our rivals and help build that organization into a Super Bowl contender.
But they couldn't close the deal though.
Right.
So
But that wasn't his fault.
yeah, it has nothing
You
to
know
do
what
with
I mean?
him. He wasn't suiting up and going out there. So
No,
I mean, he
no.
did his part.
Yeah,
And
he deserves to be in the Ring of Honor one day.
I would not have a problem with Rich McKay. I really believe that a lot of what he's done has been discounted. A lot of people talk about the salary cap hell and all this other stuff. I believe that I honestly believe that the ownership had a lot to do with a lot of the decisions that were made at some certain points within what he was doing. But I think for the most part, I think he had a great football mind, and I think he had a nice group working with him to evaluate talent.
Yeah, clearly there was a clash of philosophies between him and Gruden. I mean, look at what Gruden has done in his first 2 years back in LA. Getting rid of Khalil Mack, trading their best wide receiver wasn't what hasn't been popular with the fan base. They're having a bounce back year this year, although they took a hard L
Yes.
to the Jets this week. But I think obviously Gruden's more of a gambler, more aggressive, and I think McKay was more conservative in his philosophy. But I think he's a good talent evaluator.
Yeah.
Clearly, I mean, the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
Just look at the talent he brought in while he was here, and we haven't had those types of drafts since.
Yeah.
It's hard to if you want to talk about potential Hall of Famers, and I don't think we've really had any. I think the closest to that would maybe be Levante David.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't get the credit, so he likely won't be even in.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is attributed to wins and losses, and that whole
and we're not an ESPN team.
Yeah.
We don't get a whole lot of love nationally.
It's about wins and losses, though, man. Oh, and it is Sam Weiss was last year was 95. Dungy came in 96. So
okay,
but ultimately, man, you look at the head coaches that the Bucs have had. You look at all the coaching carousel that has continuously plagued this team. And I know a lot of people talk about, that's a lot of the reason for the bad draft picks. I'm going to ask you this question, and just shoot me straight here and talk me off the ledge, tell me I'm wrong, whatever. If you draft good football players, it doesn't matter. Depending on the position, the majority of positions, it doesn't matter what system you're bringing in. If these guys can ball, they can ball. And I really believe that the draft picks from Bruce Allen up until the present, there have just not been consistent drafts where top to bottom you've got good draft picks.
No, that.
And I mean, I look at Joe McCoy going through the different coaches, the different defensive coordinators. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I look at Levante David going through all the different defensive coordinators, different coaches. And these guys were able to survive because they were good football players.
Yeah.
I believe had Michael Bennett, had it been a different situation, I just think Schiano's a clown. I've always have. Had it been a reasonable coach with a good football mind, Michael Bennett would still be in Tampa. Donald Penn, some of your other offensive linemen, Davin Joseph, some of your offensive linemen would still be in Tampa. Had certain decisions not been made. I do believe that you're not building from scratch on your offensive line. You're able to continuously have that foundation and continuously build on your offensive line. But they just totally just cut ranks with everybody and just started over from scratch. And they're still struggling. The Bucs are still struggling to this day because of that.
Well, we're always patching holes constantly. And it's a reactionary way of building a team rather than building through the draft and adding key pieces. We keep on going after these splash names and free agency and using resources towards trading for players, like the whole Revis debacle, which absolutely made zero sense whatsoever. We already had to give up draft picks for Gruden. That has a ripple effect. We've given up some important pieces to get to where we are now, and we're still struggling. And then when you miss on gambles, like our current GM has, and he likes to gamble on small school guys, He hit on Marpet. Alex Kappa looks like he may turn out to be a good draft pick, but
what's interesting about Alex Kappa, the fact that I'm not hearing about him and watching him on film, I think he's going to settle into that offensive line. We're very fortunate that pick did work out. Maybe they saw something that we didn't at the time.
But if you look at the VH3 pick, clearly was a gamble. You draft a real small corner. And ask him to be a starter out there. I think it was just a mismatch. He was always going to be a nickel in the NFL. You look, now that he's with another team, where do they put him? Right at nickel, and he looks at home in that position in Houston. The OJ Howard pick right now is up in the air. I understand. Dirk used OJ more. He featured him more on the offense, and that's it's hard when you have a new coaching staff.
And that goes back to the coaching carousel where they draft this guy because, hey, this guy is perfect for this system. Instead, and again, there's that argument: do you draft the best player on the board? Would Dalvin Cook have been that guy that you once you have him in there and he's playing? I'm looking at this guy play, and he's a natural NFL running back, and he can catch the ball. He's nice hands, and
he might be the best running back in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Again, I was just, I get more irritated because if your guy doesn't get drafted, you go on and you roll with who you've got here on this team. That's just me. I'm not going to be that guy who just wants to be right. Oh, I got to be right. And look at what Dalvin Cook is doing over here. And look at what this guy is doing. No, who cares about that? I want my team to win. And, again, that's why we're celebrating these wins as much as we can.
You're always going to have those in the fan
base
that do that, man. God, we talk about, you're seeing it right now with the Vita Vea thing. Oh, Derwin James, like that's coming up. It just constantly comes up. And
bro,
listen, if Mariota was balling out right now,
Lord have mercy, sweet Jesus,
we'd be hearing it over Jameis.
You definitely would.
Yeah.
And iPeter747 said something really interesting. He said the coaching staff has an issue with Howard. Maybe something is going on behind the scenes. I 100% agree with that. And just something is not right there. And I don't know, just outsider looking in. You ever seen a husband and wife argue and the wife gives you that wait till we get home look? And you're like, and you just sense something's going on there. And that's just kind of how I feel, man, because, you've got a tight end, a physical tight end who could be a matchup nightmare. And you can't have that Shiano mentality where, once you make a mistake, you're on the bench. You got to get that person back out there and feed them the ball and get them involved in your offense if you're wanting to win the game. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Ashley Abrams. What's up, Ash?
What up, Ash?
The fact that people continue to bring up Dalvin Cook and Derwin James when they're when they're not on the team is the most frustrating dumb thing ever. And yeah, but again, that's the fan base. And Ashley, I can tell you this, and I promise you this: if the Bucs start winning consistently, if the Bucs we're talking about the playoffs, none of this is up for conversation because nobody's really caring about the draft because they're more concerned with the playoffs. But because you had a decade of ineptness, that's just been the way it's been. This is what you look forward to postseason is the draft, not the playoffs, because the Bucs have not done it. And I think that's a big problem right there. And that's what it all comes out there. Ashley says, I think the reason Bruce Arians isn't putting too much faith in Rojo is because he's not the back that Bruce wants. But again, it's about winning. It's about wins and losses, man. And in this league, that's what you want to do. You want to put yourself in a position to win. And if you got a running back like a Ronald Jones who has yet to show me that he's not the starter. He's catching the ball out of the backfield. The one knock that they had on him when he was drafted was, this guy can't catch the ball. You can't throw the ball to him. Nobody knew. And you look, he went out and honed his craft in the offseason. He's earned the right to be the starting running back. What are your thoughts?
Hey, you know what? It's funny that you started with with OJ and then went to Rojo because it's almost like they flipped positions.
Yes.
Right? Last year, Rojo was in the doghouse. You could see he had some confidence issues. You could tell he wasn't happy with his role on the team. And
that is well thought out,
and it's
right
like
there.
a 360. Now, OJ, you can tell he's probably sour about his role with the offense. And when he does finally get the ball thrown to him, he's making these bumbling, crazy mistakes. It happened, early in the 49ers game, and then last week, which was he was just trying to make a play on the ball, but it's almost like it's in his head now. It's a confidence issue with him. Yeah. We all know OJ Howard is a freak of fucking nature. Okay. Yes. If you've seen this man in person, it's
he's a monster.
He's a monster of a human.
Yeah.
And guess what, guys? He's not going anywhere because Cameron Brate won't be back next year.
No.
OJ's still on a rookie deal. They're not getting rid of OJ. OJ's been is learning how to block well, and he's I think he's gotten better at doing that, and he will find his way back into the good graces of this coaching staff. He'll get his confidence back, and hopefully it happens in season during the season this year.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what that's what needs to happen. Will Brewer, I'm with Jeremy on the Dungy era fan. We're always in the playoffs. It was a winning culture. Aside from Gruden beating a former team, we haven't won a playoff game since. And again, I think it'll come back. It just has to. I mean, I look at how much fans have had to endure all this time, and I really do believe that it will come back. Guys, if I missed calling you out, if I missed one of your comments, please drop it in here again. I'll make sure I get it out there. Perry Mathis, hey, check this out. Perry Mathis is saying, don't be surprised if David Johnson ends up on our team in the offseason.
It's easy to draw a line between a player like David Johnson, in this coaching staff because he had so much success in Bruce Arians' offense. For the same reason I thought it was a slam dunk that the Honey Badger would be here.
Yeah.
And boy, that would have been sweet because I think we're missing that
veteran presence in the secondary.
Yep. We talked about that on the last time I was on here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting that you say that, and I think that you're looking at a totally different team. If you're talking about we were talking about the 49ers earlier. This is a totally different team if Richard Sherman's not there. It's not the same secondary.
I agree.
And that's how much of a difference maker you have there. I think you just need a veteran cornerback, safety, somebody that can help with the nuances of playing secondary in NFL for some of these young guys, point them in the right direction. And, I think that, this secondary is looking good. So,
yeah, look at Baltimore's secondary.
Yeah.
They add Marcus Peters, but they still have an old head like Jimmy Smith in there. And then they draft they pick up that wily old veteran safety from the Seahawks, who just happens to come in and now is the leader of, one of the most formidable defenses in the NFL right now. The Ravens are playing out of their mind, and it doesn't hurt to see a guy like Earl Thomas back there,
what's interesting too, and you never and when it comes to the trenches, you never hear people talking about the Ravens having bad offensive or defensive line because they invest in the line almost every draft. At least one or two players they try to get that competition or even depth for that offensive and defensive line.
Steelers are another team. Always drafting interior linemen on the offense and the defense or outside linebackers that fit their scheme. They have a recipe. They stick to it. They're constantly adding pieces. They turn guys over, and there's always somebody that just pops up that's ready to go behind them and, plug and play. And we used to have that here in Tampa. You remember a time when all of our backup guys played big minutes and were key roles, and you got like Greg Spires and just guys that we'd pull in that fit.
But you had that core. Well. But you had that core of players, And that's kind of where you want to get. You want that core of players, and you can plug certain players in, and you have a solid defense.
You get Styles, G White. You know, it doesn't matter, but like it always our depth always paid dividends.
Yeah, most definitely.
Because those were the unsung heroes of that era. It wasn't always Sapp and Culpepper and Simeon Rice. We had depth pieces. We had a rotation of quality guys that fit the system, that played hard, you know, and we didn't have Hall of Fame, you know, a Hall of Fame secondary. I guess you could argue maybe we did. We had Lynch and Barber, but at the time they weren't looked at as Hall of Fame players. I mean, you know, John Lynch was a enforcer back there. He wasn't necessarily a coverage guy.
And I think a lot of that too, the game was a lot different. I mean, you know, this was pre concussion lawsuit. So, you know, a lot more stuff was going on that was allowed to go on that can't go on now. Robert Green, what's going on?
Oh, my friend, Robert Green.
Robert Green.
How you doing?
With all his wisdom.
Hashtag pay attention.
Smallville, what's going on? Ken F from the Bahamas, what's going on? Again, just people stopping in and checking everything out, and I appreciate that. Tell us something good. The Bucs won on Sunday, bro.
Yeah, that's some good. That's some good right there.
There you go. So if you're ready, man, I'm gonna let you keep the time. If you got a little stopwatch, I'm gonna let you keep the time so you don't think I'm cheating you. But we're gonna play that hot seat.
I'm ready.
You ready?
On the hot seat. I think I'm ready.
You think you're ready?
Hold on. All right. Let me get a little sip of my tea real quick. Hold on.
All right. I'm gonna get my timer out here too. And so how this works, I've got 10 questions, and okay. I'll give you a minute. And damn,
I ain't got no notes here. Shit.
It's all good, man. It's all over the NFL, man. Right. Okay. So, and there may be one or two Bucs questions in here. There's going to be one or two off the wall questions, but you know, it's all part of the hot seat.
I'm ready.
And just before we start, I'd have to ask you: did you watch the Ravens game? Goodness.
Some of it.
Okay.
Some of it.
All right.
It was an ass whooping.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was a bloodbath. All right, so here we go. First question. After watching the game last night, do you believe in the Kardashian curse?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, look what the Kardashians have done to Kanye West.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
With us getting a chance to look at Jason Licht's draft and free agent moves, you buying or selling him as GM?
Sell.
Jameis Winston in a Bucs uniform in 2020, buy or sell?
It's a buy. He's coming back as a on the franchise tag.
Cleveland Browns make the playoffs, buy or sell?
Oh God, sell.
John Gruden last 6 seasons with the Raiders, buy or sell?
Ooh. Buy.
Lamar Jackson has been more clutch than Russell Wilson, buy or sell?
Sell. Come on. Listen, I know he's the flavor of the month. Calm down. Calm down with anointing this guy.
Okay. Last 2 players in the draft, who are you taking, Dalvin Cook or Christian McCaffrey?
McCaffrey. Swiss Army knife.
There you go. Draft do-over. Now you taking Vita Vea or Derwin James?
Vita Vea. Vita Vea.
All right, time's up. There's 2 more questions. I'm going to go ahead and hit you with the last 2 questions. Buffalo Bills win 1 game in the playoffs, buy or sell?
Buy.
Okay, the last question right here. This is the one that I was hoping to get you with. Who has the highest football IQ, you or Sammer?
Oh, me. Not even close.
Oh, yeah, there we go, man.
First of all, they're not happy with my answers. They would have picked
but you know what? That's the fun of it, man. You're on the spot. That's the fun of it, man. That's what you got to do. You got to answer.
Robert Green already called me out. That's my relationship with Mr. Green, okay?
Hey, you got to pay attention, man. You got to. Hey, if you know he's in here, you got to pay attention, bro.
Yeah. He keeps people in line. He's like the sheriff on Twitter. I appreciate you, Robert. I do. When I mean flavor of the month, I just mean people are like last night. oh, he's better than Michael Vick. He's just okay.
He's not better than Michael. I mean, like, Michael Vick is not better than him. No way.
Let's see him perform at a consistent level for a season or two before you start saying he's better than this or he's the best quarterback.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but just at the trajectory from last year to this year, I'm going to go on a limb, and you guys can come back and dig this video up later on. I think this guy is going to end up better than Michael Vick. Just his accuracy, his pocket presence, the way he's able to break down a defense. It's uncanny just watching him do that. And I really believe that he's going to be better than, they're equally, like he said, equally dangerous, but both damn good. I really believe that it's going to be harder for DCs to find an answer for him, consistently, but we'll see. I mean, again, time will tell. You could be right about that.
Listen, if you've been around youth football and high school football, you've seen the offense that the Ravens are running. Right now, it seems like defensive coordinators in the NFL are having trouble figuring it out. But trust me, they will.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's always how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. And when they do, and it'll probably be like Belichick in the playoffs. Okay. Yes, they beat the Patriots once, but good luck doing it again. When they find the recipe to slow that offense down. And then the pressures on Lamar to make plays with his arm. Listen, he's not on Vic's level arm strength wise, accuracy, deep ball. Right now, he's playing good in the system, and again, they're so multiple that they're keeping defenses on their toes. But that won't always be the case. Just look at the Rams as an example. These defensive coordinators have caught up with what the Rams do. And right now, the Rams aren't able to do what they did last year, and
the Rams are screwed. They're pretty much screwed. I mean, this was their year. This was the year that they should have done something, but they didn't. Your salary cap's coming, and they come in and collect. So it'll be really interesting to see what they do. They won't have any first round picks for a minute, and they're just this was that year to make it all happen, and I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, I mean, to put him on the level of Russell Wilson right now, I'm not ready. Maybe he does, though. Like, nobody can say that kid couldn't turn into the next Russell Wilson or be a even crazier athletic version of him. But time will tell. We just have that. We're so reactionary now with Twitter and the culture to crown guys and to label them the next best thing, but.
Because they've got this thing on NFL Network, and they have clutch players, and they have who is the most clutch player. So it's kind of interesting, and the reason I asked that question is because they have Russell Wilson is number 1, and they have Jackson number 2. And I was just I've gotten to see both of them play. Because I love watching Lamar Jackson play. I just love watching the guy play. Mm-hmm. I love his heart. I mean, just watching him, it makes the game fun. Kind of like Mahomes, watching Mahomes as well. And it just kind of popped into my head, what do you think? How do you feel like, what do you think is going to happen?
I love these mobile quarterbacks. Yeah. I love seeing our quarterback.
I think it's really changing the game. Yeah. Just look at Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston rails out 20-something yards on that run, and nobody saw that coming. But as many times as he's done that to Atlanta, they should be
Listen,
they should be
used to it. He
needs
to do that more often. Okay. Yeah. Pull the ball down, run. I don't care if he gets 21 yards or 2 yards.
Yeah.
It's better than negative plays. It's better than trying to always be the hero and trying to always, fit it in there when he shouldn't. I like the running Jameis Winston. I do. I think he's durable. The kid can take a hit. And I know the last thing you want as a quarterback's coach or a head coach with a quarterback's, mentalities to see your quarterback out there exposed to, to taking a big hit. But
if you're smart, I look at Murray. The guy gets down. He doesn't take serious hits, and that's what it'll give you longevity in the league, or it can help your career instead of trying to take those hits like
if you're
a la Randall Cunningham.
Yeah, if you're going to run a lot of vertical routes like we do, we run a lot of 10-yard plus routes. especially, and defenses have to abandon the middle of the field to cover the deep zones. Why not take advantage of that? Jameis should do that more often, or we should take advantage with some underneath, little dump passes, because that's where I see the weakness in this offense. We don't really have a whole lot of outlets for Jameis if shit doesn't go right. We don't have the speed to get down the field quickly. So, having to sit back for 4 or 5 seconds and, to wait our receivers open, that's a problem. So,
yeah, definitely. Willie Horace, what's going on? Willie Horace is saying Ramsey will be a Buck soon. Jalen Ramsey, and guys, I want to ask your opinion about this. I don't know if you saw the Marcus Peters, Jalen Ramsey thing at the end of the game. Is this a guy that you want on your team? I mean, he gets pretty emotional about stuff, and I mean, how does that help your team, or what does that do for you?
I think it takes the right coach.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that personality fits in every locker room.
Mm-hmm.
If you have that ball breaker, Belichick like type coach, the guys seem to fall in line. I mean, he's an incredible talent. Nobody can say any different. If he's not the best corner in the league talent wise, he's in the top 3. But to see the clown show, to see the me stuff, nobody likes to see that.
Yeah, and again, he is a talent, and I'm not gonna take that away from him. But does that make a difference as far as is that
sure?
Does that move the needle?
Makes a huge difference, because that guy, you put him on the field, and essentially he shuts down at least a quarter of the field. You don't have to worry about who he's covering. You could put him on any receiver in the NFL, and if he's playing with his head in the right mind space, he's going to shut down your best receiver, or he should anyways.
Yeah. They're still talking about Lamar Jackson. I'm going to jump in here and say I'm glad the Saints didn't get him, because I read like for weeks at a time that the Saints were going to move up and grab Lamar Jackson, and I would have been physically sick if I had to see that guy twice a year. You don't need Taysom. You don't need Taysom Hill if you've got Lamar Jackson sitting there behind Drew Brees of all people. That's just my 2 cents. I'm just glad that the Saints didn't do what I thought they were going to do, and it kind of worked out. So it's one of those things. Well, bro, I can't believe it, man. We've been talking for over an hour.
Wait, we can't do a 3-hour show? Listen,
man, I got to pack. I will be in Tampa tomorrow. I probably might hit up the press box when I land, get me some wings. But folks, if you guys are following me on Twitter, you're going to get together. I definitely will be at the press box on Friday to hang out with everybody. Anthony Sellers, my man, from the Cleveland Browns podcast, Browns in Our Blood, great friend of the show. Always appreciate you guys, guys like this that come on, and that's what makes the podcast community so great, is that you've got different teams, different rivalries, but when people can are comfortable coming in and stopping in the chat and saying what's up, that's what I appreciate more than anything, to be honest, is just being able to make friends like this.
Hey, to kind of bring what you talked about full circle earlier, we're talking about how this team, this fan base, we have all these fan podcasts. It's a beautiful thing. Like we've not won in 12 seasons. We haven't had much to cheer about, yet it just seems like these great fans are still coming out of the woodwork and doing everything they can to support this team. And we haven't seen it on the field, but eventually we will. We've got great fans, man.
Yeah, we really do. Yeah, before we jump out of here, I want to talk a little bit about the Jacksonville game. Have you gotten a chance to watch any of last week's game by any chance?
No, I have not watched a stitch of Jacksonville Jaguar football, other than the whole Gardner Minshew hype thing that went on for a little while there. I know Nick Foles is back. I know they're struggling. I think they've lost 3 straight. They still got some talent on that team, though.
Yeah, they really do, and
they still got the man beast Calais Campbell up front.
Yeah,
they could still rush the passer. They're a tough team. They're physical. And we seem to struggle with teams like that. But if we bring that confidence from last week into this week and play with that fearsome, force that we did,
Again, I've been saying this all year. I looked at the schedule and I really feel like the Bucs can win any game they go out and play. It's, do they go out and do it? And again, this is another one of those games. This is a winnable game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They have to go out, execute, and do what they need to do to win. I was really intrigued with Gardner Minshew and just what he was able to do. I'm kind of glad that Foles is back, because you know how the Bucs do against rookie quarterbacks, and I'm just glad that he's back. So we'll see. Like Robert Green will be at the game, so he will be giving us play-by-play and live video from his seat at the game, and he will be giving us the play-by-play. So,
I found out through Twitter, Robert Green is like the stage handler for the Stars, or something like that. What's up, Robert?
This guy's a celebrity. He's an undercover celebrity. He likes to come out and hang out with us peasants from time to time, and just kind of intermingle with us, and I appreciate that.
So he actually is hanging out with the Kardashians, and we're here
he probably is. We should get him on here and ask him some questions about, some star questions. Turn this into TMZ.
First assistant director, stage manager. That sounds like Dwight Schrute's assistant to the regional manager.
There you go. So, guys in the chat, let me get your final scores. What do you think the score is going to be on this game? I normally don't do the scores because I'm bad for business like that. I actually babysat Are you serious?
What?
Is that true? Wait a minute. Hold on. I actually babysat the Kardashian. Is that true? Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. I totally lost my train of thought here. Seriously, Kendall and Kylie at Disney Channel games 2008. Stop it.
Damn it, man. Robert, you need your own podcast, bro.
Yeah, we need to talk about. These are things that need to be discussed. I have some really tough questions for you, as a matter of fact. So we need to get him on here next time. You know what? Let's do this. Why don't you come on next week with me and Adam, and let's talk about this. I don't think that this should be left to chance here. Rob, give me a job. There you go. XLU Garvey. There you go. You got an assistant right here, and I can arrange that for a finder's fee.
And Gene, you're a UFC fan, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Oh, so is Robert, and so am I.
There we go.
We could talk a little bit of UFC.
We definitely could. We can make this happen. It doesn't have to be always about football, although football is life, everything else is details, and you just kind of make it that way.
True story.
Yeah. Okay, Willie Horace is saying we have to stop their running game. So I'm trying to think. Is there, because I know their running back
Fournette.
Yeah, Fournette. I was thinking he was hurt. No, he's healthy.
Bill my shit. He's healthy. I think he had a good game last week too. Their strengths and our strengths line up. Obviously, we're good against the run. Their receiving core doesn't really scare me, and that should scare me, because every time I feel that way, it doesn't matter who it is. They got Chark, who's had a pretty good season, but I'm just really hoping that our secondary,
Leonard Fournette,
builds on last week's performance.
Absolutely.
Because if we can hang with Julio and Ridley, then we should be able to hang with pretty much anybody.
Yeah. Willie Horace is saying 24-21 Bucs. John Miles is 38-17 Bucs.
I like it.
Yeah, so you got some people that they're thinking that Leonard Fournette does bother me. I mean, here's one of those guys. He's a underrated running back when he's healthy. I'm going to say when he's healthy. When he's healthy, he's a guy that you have to keep your eye on. I know Tampa's done really good against the run so far this year, and if they can just get home with that pass rush, that's gonna be a big deal. And I know a lot of people are all about the sacks. Sacks are sexy and all this other stuff. Quarterback pressures, hurries, hits, force. Those are the things that keep a quarterback uncomfortable in the pocket and that's definitely gonna, it's gonna help you out in the long run.
Yeah, what I liked from last week's game is we had a lot of inside pressure. Vita and Sue were wrecking shop in the middle. I mean, really, it was coming from everywhere. Our defensive line played extremely well. It helped that our secondary, was able to hang and run with those guys out there. We need to see a replay of that this week. And if we do, listen, our offense can score with anybody. Anybody. I don't care who we're facing. We can score.
Yeah.
So we don't continue to beat ourselves with turnovers and penalties.
Yeah.
If the secondary comes out and looks like they have all season, we could lose this game. But it feels like a game we should win, which is probably why it's going to be real close, down to the wire. Matt Gay needs to have a comeback game, make some field goals, because it could be one of those tight games.
Yeah, and that's something that I like, that he kind of brought himself around, and he was making some of those kicks at the end. Ken F says 34-10 Bucs. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Can we score without beating ourselves with turnovers and putting the defense behind the 8-ball? That's the key right there, and I believe that it can happen. Again, just with the confidence that you're seeing from that secondary, I'm really hoping that carries over into this game. And that's one of my things that I'm going to be keeping an eye on is the secondary. And actually, how are they going to be using these running backs? Again, Derek Waters, right on cue, got to stay balanced. This team has to find its identity, and it lies with running the rock and getting Jameis Winston out of the pocket. Running the ball is going to be huge. And I really hope that, as Bruce Arians talked about, the offense being predicated on the run, I would love to see more runs. But again, it's situational football. You don't know, what's going on here. If the Bucs are behind, I'm sure you'll see more passes. So again, they have to come out strong and they have to come out fast in order to control the game.
That's been, I think, the biggest improvement on offense this season is our run game. I mean, our run game was non-existent under Dirk Cutter, except for in season one, year one. But it's looked real good. We've had a regression in the tight end game, and that really just comes down to,
that's more play
design. Yeah, design, play calling.
Yeah.
But they got to find a way, man. There's just too much talent at that position. They have to find a way.
Yeah. And because that is a strength of this team is the tight end position.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah. They have to find a way to get the ball in OJ's hands. Utilize Brate more. It just
and the reason and the thing is, like you alluded to earlier, if they don't keep Brate, I mean, you got to get game film on this guy so you can say, okay, this is what we want. We want this for him, and you got to kind of feature him a little bit just so people know what they're getting. Ryan Hellrung, the best thing about this win is not just one person making an effort like in the beginning of the season. Again, I think I tweeted this out. This was the first complete game I've seen from all facets in goodness in a long time.
Other than Matt Gay in special teams.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if we take Matt Gay out of the equation, I would have to say as close to a complete game as we've seen. So, again, I think he was turning it on at the end and. Just sloppy play, and I think that he'll get all that fixed. Screen pass heavy this game, I'm calling it. Okay.
We've been screen pass heavy all season.
Yep.
Leftwich loves the screen game.
Yeah. And again, I think that he's starting to get a feel for his players, and let's watch this progression and hope that the Bucs get that win. Well, folks, that's pretty much it for us. I appreciate you guys coming into the chat and talking with us. Derek Waters, thank you for checking us out. Ryan Hellrung, John Miles. Again, XLU Garvey, thank you so much. And as he's mentioning here, we got to get Scotty Miller. I see Scotty Miller getting a little bit of confidence there.
Yeah. He's one of the young guys that seems to be playing with a little more confidence, starting to get some confidence in his abilities. With young guys like Sean Murphy-Bunting, who was a guy that looked shook to me the first half of the season, and he even looks like he's starting to get a little swagger.
Yeah, getting the speed of the game down a little bit.
Yep.
Peter747, thank you so much. It's not a conventional podcast. We get on here and we're all over the road, so it's just kind of what it is.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the chat, man. All y'all who came on. I am a huge Bucs fan. For those of y'all who follow me on Twitter, at Bucs Podcast, Stank Bastard. If y'all listen to my podcast, the Buccin Idiots podcast, it's shenanigans. It's all over the fucking place. It's weird. Okay, if you give it a chance,
it is.
It's strange. It's not for everybody. It might make you uncomfortable at times. And that's what I'm trying. That's the niche I'm trying to fall in, because we got beautiful podcasts. What you do is amazing. You've already shout out all these podcasts out there, man. There's so many great ones. There's really something for everybody out there. Man, I could come on here every week, bro.
Yeah, man. And I'm hoping to get you and Robert next week. And
I love it. Me and Robert typically don't see eye to eye. We've had our little Twitter spats, and it's always love. This is probably the first time he's seen me or heard me talk. It's always love, Robert. I hope you don't ever take anything I say on Twitter seriously, because I'm not an idiot. I'm not a kid. I'm not a dumbass. It's all in fun for me. You're a Bucs fan. I'm a Bucs fan. Look, he's gonna call me out. You know what I'm talking about, Robert. Robert loves to call me out.
Yeah. Hey, don't worry. I done got my share of it too. I thought I'd tweet something out and thought I'd get away with it, and Robert comes right back and he's asking me another question. And
bro, he'll be the first one to call you out. and he wants you to back it up.
Yeah,
with statistical data.
Exactly.
And that's okay.
And I think that's what makes social media great, when you have people that are willing to do that. And that's what I like about the chat. I mean, people aren't coming in here with stupid hot Facebook hot takes and stuff like that. People just want to come on here.
Oh my God, Facebook hot takes. Jesus.
And they just want to talk football. This is their team. And when you get a win, you really want to talk about the team. So
isn't it nice going into to Thursday, with the turkey, and we get to watch football and just do it with a smile on our face, rather than just sitting there at all stank and just feeling nasty about the performance last week. That's what I'm thankful for. Obviously, my beautiful family, my beautiful children, my health. But outside of that, I'm thankful I get to enjoy football this Thursday, just feeling good about football.
So which games are you looking forward to? I don't know. Remember, it's funny. A lot of these teams that they have on here now used to be like, these were like incredible teams, powerhouse teams. But now these are the same teams that you're seeing now, where everybody's kind of progressed. Like, look at Dallas. I mean, Dallas hasn't beaten a team with a winning record all season. And they're on Thanksgiving. The Detroit Lions, I mean, it's like tradition to have them on for Thanksgiving. It's a lot to it.
Yeah, I mean, it is tradition. I'm not a Dallas Cowboys fan. I'm not a Lions fan, but I look forward to the games we get every year, the traditional, Packers, Bucs have ever played on Thanksgiving. I think everybody should get a chance at some point, but it's okay. It's okay. We don't. Maybe I don't want the Bucs to play on Thanksgiving, because then I wouldn't be able to enjoy the day.
Yeah, because you'll be all stressed out and pissed off, and you were fighting with your cousins and stuff, and.
Yeah. Maybe you're better off not seeing them.
Yeah. I'm good. Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's just like London. We don't got to go to London no more for 39 years, 50 years. We don't have to go to London anymore. Tampa's got their fill of London. I've gotten my fill of going to to seeing football games over in London. So let's let the rest of the teams in the NFL have that.
But the Glazers will always want to be up there.
Yeah, but they can't go up there without security, because with the way the Manchester United fans feel about them, they got to have like triple security when they go out there. I'm just saying.
Yeah, next time I'm on, I'll take some calls on the hotline.
I'm actually gonna look into that and see how I can take some calls, because I would really love to actually hear from some of you guys. I think it would be great. All right, folks.
Yes,
well, that's pretty much it for me. I want everybody to have a safe holiday weekend. Don't get in any trouble. Don't do anything I wouldn't do unless you call me first.
Yeah. And I gave this piece of advice out on Sammer's podcast. If you're frying your turkey, make sure it's not frozen, okay? You don't want to die in a crazy grease fire. Spread the word, because it happens more than you think.
And this is the irony of it. People actually had not even thought of that. And I don't know how many blow up videos, turkey blow up videos I've watched.
Yeah.
Where guys are just taking a frozen turkey, still got icicles coming off of it, and drop it into that grease like that.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Just listen, man. If your uncle's out there, he's been drinking a little too much natty light or whatever he's drinking.
Take that E&J from him.
Yeah,
Number one.
Knock on that turkey. Knock on the turkey. If it's frozen, listen, man. Call Uber Eats, okay? It's not happening.
There you go. All right, folks. That's pretty much it for us. And any final thoughts before we roll out, man?
Peace out. Hey,
all right.
My final thoughts from me?
Yeah.
I thought you were talking in the chat. Final thoughts from me. Have a safe, enjoyable Thanksgiving. If nobody out there is giving you love, I'm gonna give you love. Follow me on Twitter @Bucs Podcast. Stank bastard. It's always love.
That's my guy, friend of the show. He's always gonna be welcome on here. That's pretty much it for us. For me, I will be in Tampa. I will be enjoying some very good food, some very, very good food.
You coming through on Sunday to the crib? I got to open an invitation.
Yeah, I will be there on Sunday to watch the game.
That's what's up.
I will be around. Please, if you're following me on Twitter and you want to get together or something like that, let me know. Friday, Saturday are the best days to get at me. And, that's pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and jump off of here finally again for the 15th time. But we are out, man. This was a fun show for me, and I really enjoyed you guys. Thank you, and have a safe weekend.
Hell yeah. Gene, I'm going to DM you my phone number.
Okay, we're